In Cangjie, we type characters using a maximum of 5 radicals. If we have a character that would require more than 5 radicals, then there are a few rules that we adhere to depending on whether the character is single unit, double unit, or triple unit. I will explain these rules in the next video, but before you learn them, you should be able to identify which category a character falls under. A single unit character is one that cannot be split into smaller components. For example, A, C, Y are all single unit characters. I will explain how to identify single unit characters in more detail later in the video. To identify double unit or triple unit characters, you need to understand how characters are broken up into units. To break up a character, start by taking the leftmost, uppermost, or outermost independent auxiliary shape or character. That will be the first unit. For Yu, the leftmost character is Yin. For Zi, the uppermost independent auxiliary shape is the crown. For Ying, the outermost auxiliary shape is the walk radical. For Feng, the outermost auxiliary shape is the character Wu. For Tong, the outermost auxiliary shape is the box. Once you have determined the first unit, then you look at the remaining component. If you cannot extract another independent auxiliary shape or character, then you're done. Otherwise, repeat the same process. For Yu, we can split the remaining component into Ng and Hao. Therefore, this is a triple unit character. For Zi, we cannot split the remaining component, so this is a double unit character. For Ying, we can split it into a left half and a right half, so this is a double unit character. For Feng, we cannot split the remaining component, so this is a double unit character. For Tong, we can split the remaining component into a horizontal line and Hao, so this is a triple unit character. One common error is mistaking double unit characters for a triple unit character. For example, Seung is a double unit character with units Seung and Sum, not a triple unit character with units Mok, and Sum. The reason for this is that we break this apart from top to bottom first, so we get Seung and Sum. We only split it up further if the second component can be broken down. In this case, Sum is the second component, and we cannot break it down any further. Another common error is mistaking triple unit characters for double unit characters. For example, the character Sun is a triple unit character. The reason for confusion is that the left side contains the character Chun. Thus, people mistakenly assume that it is one unit, and the right side Yi is the second unit. However, following Cangjie rules, we extract the leftmost independent character or auxiliary shape. In that case, this would be the left falling stroke. What's remaining is this component, and again, we extract the leftmost auxiliary shape, which is a vertical line. Another example is the character Nim. Some people mistakenly assume that the top portion is one unit and the bottom portion is another unit. However, according to our rules, we extract the uppermost auxiliary shape first, in this case, Yan. Next, we extract the dot, and we are left with the hook and Sum as the third unit. Now, at this point you may be thinking, well, how can I know when a stroke is its own unit or part of a larger single unit? There are some general rules that can help you determine this, and I will go over a few of these. As a general rule, shapes that are directly touching are not split off. So all of these examples are single unit characters. On the other hand, shapes that smother or cover the components underneath them are generally split off. So here, in this character, this top part is split off, this part is split off, this part is split off, and so on. So each of the shapes that are circled in red are considered one unit. Next, these shapes, when on top of characters, can be split off. Again, everything circled in red is considered one unit. Now there are a few exceptions, such as man, yek, mong, lab. And the reason for this, I'm not actually completely sure. I think it's because the top shapes are directly touching the bottom strokes. So therefore, these are all technically considered single unit characters. Next, if there is a dot at the top or upper right of the character, it is not split off. So all of these characters here are single unit. But take note that if a dot is in the middle of a character or under a single unit shape, then they will be considered a single unit. So therefore, this character actually has 3 units. We have the top unit here, the dot in the middle, and then the bottom. Left slanting downward strokes are not split off. So in Zi and Guai, we both have left slanting downward strokes. So these are both considered single unit characters. Horizontal strokes that are attached to a vertical stroke or falling stroke are not split off. So you can see in these examples, the horizontal stroke is touching the vertical stroke or falling stroke. So these are all considered one unit characters. Two-legged shapes at the bottom of characters are not split off. So for example, this, 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 this. These are all considered part of the same unit. So all of these are single unit characters. So in these characters, this one is one whole unit, this one is one whole unit, and this is one whole unit. And these shapes are also not split off, so all of these are single unit characters. Finally, there are a few outliers that don't necessarily fall into the above categories, but are also considered single unit characters. There isn't any particular rhyme or reason as to why these are considered single unit characters, but there aren't really a lot of characters that fall outside these categories, and these are the most common examples. Here are the examples for today. For each character, try to identify whether it is a single unit, double unit, or triple unit character. And once you've done that, try to figure out which part is the first unit, which part is the second unit, and which part is the third unit. Breaking down characters into units is probably the most confusing aspect of Cangjie because of all the exceptions and unintuitive rules, but hopefully this video was a good starting point. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and in the next video I will explain the decomposition rules for single unit, double unit, and triple unit characters. Thanks for watching.